Something I'd like to address this fine Saturday morning, but I I'm having pebbles thrown in my pond, and it's by a local musician who seems to think that I'm a bit of a drug addict, and I realize that that's been the tea going around town, if you will. But that's a stigma and a label that I've fought long and hard for many years, and believe me, there have been times when I was desperately wrapped in addiction, and that is far from the case now. As a psych major, behavioral science, psychology, philosophy, even theology, I've studied these things passionately for a long time. And it's important that you keep an even keel when you try and be a leader of that cloth, I suppose would be a good allegory. But I digress because this one person keeps being a perpetual thorn in my side and calling me an addict. And I just like to address that there's no better surveillance than my neighbor. And when I asked Wayne this morning, I said, would you consider me a drug addict? And in about a half second's time, no, you just partake. And I'd like that to be clarified. And because I like to remain transparent, I'd also like to take the time to explain that my recent outbursts have been a fluctuated bout of mania due to the fact that I've had ongoing mental health issues all through COVID, and I don't think I'm alone. So that being said, yeah, I realized that I got assaulted twice, and my truck was actually damaged, and those are three different civil cases that I had running concurrently with a DWI I got from playing a civil activist show, which I wasn't paid for. I just did it for exposures, we'll say. And even then, I got a DWI for going 10 over when I had another ride, and I plan to face my accuser on my Sixth Amendment right. The failure to maintain financial responsibility where they impounded my truck was consequently from a bad license plate light, which when I got home, first thing I did was screw it in and it came on. So I plan on facing my accuser for that charge. Let's see, what else is there? There's the North Dallas possession of marijuana, which really should have been a domestic violence charge, but the police told me themselves they got called there for that a lot, which tells you that I wasn't necessarily the problem as much as I was in a toxic environment, which I have not returned to. There's a lot going on, and I'm processing a lot. As I've said, I have a lot to unpack. And the more and more I unpack, and the closer I get back to sanity, the more I realize who my friends are and who wants to base things off of assumptions and speculation. I've requested multiple times that I get to talk to KLTV so that I could reestablish my esteem and there's another word I'm looking for. We'll say credibility in this community. And this is entirely unscripted, by the way. And I'd like to say, too, that I dropped out of Kilgore College when I was on the dean's list for behavioral science because I was caught in a jam for being a drug addict from smoking marijuana, and it caused me to sign over my rights for my son in a reflection of King Solomon. I thought maybe if I made the bigger decision now, then we could amicably discuss this through therapy, which I suggested at the time, but was frowned upon by my counterpart. And again, I try not to bash people on social media. I try to point out ironies, and I try to point out contradictions and hypocrisies. And it's these little things that I keep modifying in myself. I try and remain malleable so I'm not fixed in my presentation. But occasionally, due to OCD and other things, I fixate on issues. And I'm just trying to express that, you don't want me to fixate on you, and that's the biggest theme from this mania. And man, somebody just, they're hell-bent on throwing rocks in my pond. So, game on, bromigo. You asked for it.